Close your eyes. Right now, as you listen to my voice, your heart is generating an electromagnetic field. This field extends 3 feet beyond your body, and it's broadcasting a frequency. If that frequency is trying, if it's forcing, if it's desperate, you're collapsing the wrong timeline. Open your eyes, because what I'm about to show you was proven by physicists in 1927, and it changes everything you think you know about manifestation. Let me guess what's been happening. You visualize every day. You affirm. You create vision boards. You follow every technique. And maybe small things shift. A synchronicity here. A sign there. But that big thing, that life-changing manifestation, it stays just out of reach. In 1927, at the Solvay conference in Brussels, the greatest minds in physics, Einstein, Bohr, Heisenberg, they ran an experiment. They shot photons through 2 slits. And here's what broke physics. The photons behaved like waves until they tried to observe which slit the photon went through. The moment they observed, the wave collapsed into a particle. Not because they touched it, not because they measured it, because they intended to know. Do you understand what this means? Consciousness doesn't create through force. Consciousness creates through observation. And every time you try harder, you're collapsing the wrong probability. Drat camada 3. Validação de experiência. Gás. 2:30. You, energia suave, quase sussurrando. Now, some of you are already feeling something. A tingling in your hands, a shift in your chest. Maybe your breath just deepened without you trying. That's not random. That's your biofield recognizing truth. Your body knows this. Your higher self has been waiting for you to understand this. See, the HeartMath Institute discovered something in 1993. When you force, when you try desperately, your heart rhythm becomes chaotic. This chaos creates an electromagnetic signature that literally repels your desires. But when you allow, when you trust without forcing, your heart enters coherence. And this frequency, pausa, this is the frequency that collapses timelines where manifestation is effortless. In the next 45 minutes, I'm going to show you 1. The exact science of why forcing blocks quantum collapse. 2. The water principle, how nature manifests without trying. And 3. The step-by-step protocol to shift your nervous system from forcing to allowing in under 8 minutes. But I need to warn you, this content is activational. As you watch, your frequency is shifting. Trust what you feel more than what you think. Let's begin. What makes this approach different is that we're going to bridge 3 dimensions of understanding that are rarely brought together. Pilar 1, the science of quantum mechanics. Not the watered-down quantum buzzwords you see everywhere, but the actual measurable physics of how consciousness interacts with the quantum field. You're going to learn about the observer effect, quantum superposition, and why particles literally exist in all possible states until you stop trying to control them. Pilar 2, energy self-care as medicine. This isn't about crystals and incense, though those can be tools. This is about understanding your biofield, your electromagnetic signature, and why your nervous system state determines what timeline you collapse into reality. You're going to learn why coherence always beats intensity. Pilar 3, natural magic. The forgotten art of working with the intelligence of nature rather than against it. You're going to discover how water flows, how trees grow, how the universe creates, and why forcing is the only thing that blocks natural manifestation. When you bring these 3 together, something extraordinary happens. You don't just change your thoughts. You don't just heal your emotions. You literally shift into a different quantum probability. where effortless manifestation is your natural state. Before we go further, I need to warn you, this content is activational. As you watch this, your frequency is going to start shifting. Some of you will feel tingling in your hands or feet. Some will feel emotional. Some will have a sudden urge to let go of something you've been gripping too tightly. That's not random. That's your quantum field recognizing truth. That's your higher self saying, yes, finally, this is what I've been waiting for. So trust what you feel in your body more than what you think in your mind. Let's begin the journey from forcing to flowing. For the last several years, I've been diving deep into the intersection between quantum physics, neuroscience, and practical spirituality. Not as some mystical guru disconnected from reality, but as someone obsessed with finding the truth, whether it's in the laboratories of physics or the ancient practices of energy healing. And here's what I've discovered. The reason most manifestation techniques fail isn't because they're completely wrong. It's because they're missing the fundamental principle that quantum mechanics has proven for over a century. Consciousness doesn't create reality through force. Consciousness creates reality through observation. Let me say that again, because it changes everything. You don't force the quantum field to give you what you want. You allow the quantum field to collapse into the probability that already exists. And the moment you try to force it, you collapse a different probability, one where you're still trying to force things. This isn't philosophy. This isn't positive thinking repackaged. This is quantum physics. Today, you're going to receive the complete map. Part 1. The quantum observer effect explained. Why particles exist in superposition until you stop trying to control them. Part 2. The science of forcing versus allowing. What happens in your biofield when you shift from effort to ease. Part 3. The water teaches. Natural magic of effortless flow. How nature manifests without trying and why you can too. Part 4. The coherence protocol. Practical technique to shift from forcing frequency to allowing frequency in under 5 minutes. Part 5. Timeline. Physics. Why forcing keeps you in the wrong timeline. The quantum mechanics of parallel realities. Part 6. The complete effortless manifestation protocol. Step-by-step guide to allowing your desired reality to find you. Each of these sections integrates cutting-edge science, energy medicine, and practical techniques you can apply today. Prepare yourself, because what you're about to learn is going to challenge everything you thought you knew about how manifestation works. Let's begin. 1. The Solvay Conference in Brussels. The greatest minds in physics, Einstein, Bohr, Heisenberg, Schrödinger, are gathered to discuss a problem that's breaking classical physics apart. They've been running an experiment, a simple experiment with light and 2 slits. Here's what they did. They shot photons, particles of light, through 2 narrow slits onto a screen. Classical physics predicted they'd see 2 bands of light corresponding to the 2 slits, but that's not what happened. Instead, they saw an interference pattern, multiple bands, like waves overlapping. So they thought maybe photons are waves, not particles. But here's where it gets weird. They decided to observe which slit each photon went through. They placed a detector to watch the photons, and the moment they started observing, the moment they tried to know which path the photon took, the interference pattern disappeared. The photons started behaving like particles again. 2 bands, no wave pattern. Remove the observer. The wave pattern returns. Add the observer back. It collapses back into particles. Do you understand what this means? The act of observing, not measuring, not touching, just observing, changed physical reality. But here's the part that shatters everything. When they tried to force a specific outcome by observing harder, by using more precise detectors, by trying to catch the photon behaving like a wave, it never worked. The harder they tried to control it, the more the quantum system resisted. The photons collapsed into the particle state every single time they tried to force observation. But when they simply allowed the system to exist without interference, the wave function remained. All possibilities stayed open. Einstein called this spooky action at a distance. He hated it. He spent the rest of his life trying to prove quantum mechanics was incomplete, but experiment after experiment confirmed it. You cannot force a quantum system into a specific state. You can only allow it to collapse into the state that matches your frequency of observation. And here's the question that changes everything. If photons, fundamental particles of light, respond to observation and resist force, why would your reality be any different? What if your life is a quantum system that exists in superposition, all timelines, all possibilities existing simultaneously, until you observe it into being? And what if every time you try harder, every time you force, you're collapsing the wrong probability? Now, before you start thinking this is just abstract physics with no practical application, let me show you something. In 1993, the HeartMath Institute started measuring something extraordinary. They discovered that the electromagnetic field generated by your heart, not your brain, your heart, extends up to 3 feet outside your body. And this field doesn't just exist, it influences quantum probability. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The frequency of this heart field changes dramatically depending on whether you're forcing or allowing. When you force, when you try desperately to make something happen, your heart rhythm becomes chaotic, incoherent, and this incoherence creates an electromagnetic signature that literally pushes desired outcomes away. But when you allow, when you trust, when you surrender into flow, your heart rhythm becomes coherent, harmonic, and this frequency collapses timelines where manifestation happens effortlessly. Let's go deeper into the science of what's happening in your body when you shift from forcing to allowing. Before I give you this protocol, I need to tell you something that most teachers won't say. If you use this technique while still enforcing energy, it will backfire. Pauser. You'll be forcing yourself to allow, and that's still forcing. So for the next 90 seconds, I need you to do something. Place your hand on your heart. Take one deep breath and ask yourself, am I ready to surrender control? If the answer is yes, stay with me. If the answer is no, that's okay. Come back to this video when you're ready. For those still here, let's unlock the protocol. Let's go straight to the scientific point that changes everything. Your body doesn't know the difference between you trying to manifest and you experiencing lack. Here's why. In 1993, the HeartMath Institute began a series of groundbreaking studies measuring the electromagnetic field of the human heart. They discovered that your heart generates an electromagnetic field that is approximately 5,000 times stronger than the field generated by your brain. This field can be detected up to 3 feet outside your body using squid magnetometers, superconducting quantum interference devices that measure magnetic fields. But here's what most people don't know. This heart field doesn't just exist passively. It encodes information about your emotional state. When you experience emotions of coherence, gratitude, love, compassion, trust, your heart enters a harmonic rhythm. The electromagnetic waves become smooth, regular, sinusoidal. But when you experience emotions of incoherence, anxiety, fear, desperation, forcing, your heart rhythm becomes chaotic, jagged, erratic. And here's the quantum physics part. Dr. William Tiller at Stanford University conducted experiments showing that human intention carried in coherent electromagnetic fields can alter the molecular structure of water. Let me repeat that. Thoughts carried in electromagnetic fields alter physical matter. And before you think that's pseudoscience, know this: your body is approximately 70% water. If coherent intention can change the structure of water in a laboratory, it's changing the structure of you. But here's the critical part that everyone misses. When you try to manifest, when you visualize desperately, when you affirm from a place of, I need this to work, your heart enters an incoherent state. Your electromagnetic field broadcasts, I don't have this, I'm lacking this, I need this. And the quantum field, which responds to the frequency you're transmitting, not the words you're thinking, collapses realities where you continue not having it. You're literally broadcasting lack while trying to create abundance. It's like trying to tune into a radio station at 98.5 FM while your transmitter is set to 101.3. The frequency doesn't match. Radamaus tipo 2, explicação conceitual e metáforas, 16:22 palavras. Here's what few people understand. The quantum field is not a genie that responds to wishes. It's a mirror that reflects frequency. Think of it like this. Imagine the quantum field as a vast cosmic radio. Every possible reality, every timeline, every version of your life exists as a different radio station. On one station, you have the relationship you desire. On another station, you have the financial abundance. On another, you have perfect health. On another, you're still struggling, still trying, still forcing. All of these stations are broadcasting simultaneously, all the time, right now. Your job isn't to create the station. The station already exists. Your job is to tune into it. And here's the part that changes everything. You don't tune in with your thoughts. You tune in with your frequency, not what you think, what you feel, what you transmit electromagnetically. If you're vibrating at the frequency of trying desperately to manifest, you tune into the station where you're still trying desperately. If you're vibrating at the frequency of, I already have it, I'm just allowing it to arrive, you tune into the station where it's already happened. Now here's where the metaphor gets even more precise. Have you ever tried to fine-tune an old radio? You turn the dial slowly, carefully, trying to lock onto the station. What happens if you turn the dial too hard, too fast? If you force it, the station skips, it jumps past. You lose it. But if you turn it gently, with ease, allowing the frequency to lock in naturally, you find the station perfect. Your reality works the exact same way. When you force, when you visualize with clenched fists and desperate energy, you're cranking the dial too hard. You're overshooting the frequency. The timeline you want is at 98.5, but you're forcing your way to 102.3, then back to 95.1, constantly jumping past it because you're trying too hard. But when you allow, when you feel the frequency of your desired reality, and simply rest in that feeling without needing to force it into manifestation, you lock in perfectly. The quantum field says, here's the frequency. Let me collapse this probability into form. And here's the part that's difficult for the egoic mind to accept. The universe doesn't respond to your effort. It responds to your alignment. A tree doesn't try to grow. It allows growth. Water doesn't try to flow downhill. It surrenders to gravity. A seed doesn't force itself to become a flower. It trusts the intelligence encoded in its DNA. And you don't need to force your manifestation. You need to allow the quantum probability that already exists to collapse into your experience. So what's the solution? You need to shift your nervous system from a state of forcing to a state of allowing. And the fastest way to do that is through what I call the Coherence Reset Protocol. Here's exactly how to do it. Step 1. Ground your energy. 2 minutes. Sit comfortably with your feet flat on the ground. Close your eyes. Take 3 deep breaths. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4, exhale for 6, hold for 2. On the exhale, imagine any tension, any desperate energy, any trying, draining down through your feet into the earth. Feel it physically leaving your body like water flowing out of a container. Step 2. Activate heart coherence. 2 minutes. Place your hand on your heart center, the space in the middle of your chest. Breathe directly into your heart. Imagine the breath flowing in and out of your heart space, not your nose. As you breathe, recall a memory of genuine gratitude, not forced appreciation, real, spontaneous gratitude. Maybe a sunset that took your breath away. Maybe a moment of unexpected kindness. Maybe your dog's face when you came home. Don't think about gratitude, feel it. Let it wash through your body. Your heart rhythm will naturally begin to coherent. You might feel warmth, tingling, or a sense of expansion in your chest. Step 3. Allow the frequency of your desire. 3 minutes. Now, from this coherent state, not from forcing but from allowing, bring to mind your desired reality. Don't visualize trying to get it. Don't see yourself pursuing it. Instead, visualize yourself already experiencing it and pay attention to the feeling, the frequency, the emotional signature of having it. Not excitement, not desperation, just calm, quiet knowing, like how you feel about the chair you're sitting on right now. You don't need to manifest it, it's already there. Feel your desired reality with that same quality of simple, effortless presence. Step 4, release and trust. 1 minute. Now comes the crucial part that most people skip. Let it go. Release your grip on needing it to happen. Say internally or out loud, I've tuned to the frequency. I trust the field to collapse this probability in perfect timing. Then open your eyes and move on with your day without checking for results, without obsessively looking for signs, without trying to force it to show up. When you first do this exercise, your mind will resist. It will say, this is too simple. Nothing happened. I need to do more. That resistance is the forcing mechanism trying to stay in control. But if you practice this protocol consistently, just 8 minutes a day for 30 days, you'll start noticing something remarkable. Things you've been trying desperately to force for months start showing up effortlessly. Synchronicities increase. Opportunities appear. The timeline shifts. Not because you tried harder, because you stopped trying. Now, before you rush off to try this technique, there's something crucial I need to tell you about why forcing keeps you stuck in the wrong timeline. Now, we need to talk about something that most manifestation teachers actively avoid, because if you understand this, you'll realize why their techniques keep you stuck. I'm talking about timeline physics. And before you think that sounds too complicated, let me show you something that will make this crystal clear. Right now, in this exact moment, you exist on multiple timelines simultaneously. On one timeline, you have what you desire. On another, you're still trying to get it. The question isn't, how do I create the timeline? The timeline already exists. The question is, how do I shift into it? And the answer is the opposite of what you've been taught. Stay with me for the next 8 minutes. This is where everything clicks. Let's talk about something most manifestation teachers won't discuss because it reveals why their techniques don't work. Timeline physics. In 1957, physicist Hugh Everett proposed the many worlds interpretation of quantum mechanics. His theory, which has gained increasing acceptance among quantum physicists, states that every possible outcome of every quantum event exists in separate, parallel realities. When you make a choice, you don't eliminate other possibilities. You simply select which timeline your consciousness experiences. Think of reality like a vast tree. The trunk is the present moment. Every branch represents a different decision, a different outcome, a different version of your life. On one branch, you said yes to that opportunity. On another branch, you said no. On one branch, you met that person. On another, you walked right past them. All of these branches exist simultaneously. Your consciousness navigates this tree by frequency. Here's where the science gets specific. Dr. David Hawkins spent 20 years researching consciousness and calibrated what he called the scale of consciousness, a measurable spectrum from 20 to 1000. At the lower frequencies, 20, 175, shame, guilt, fear, anger, pride. At mid-frequencies, 200 to 350, courage, neutrality, willingness. At higher frequencies, 400 to 600, acceptance, love, joy, peace. Now here's what he discovered through kinesiology testing and electromagnetic field measurement. Each frequency level corresponds to a different timeline. When you're vibrating at 125, pride, which includes desperate trying and forcing, you collapse timelines where you're still in struggle. When you're vibrating at 540, joy, which includes effortless allowing, you collapse timelines where manifestation is natural. But here's the mechanism that changes everything. When you try to manifest from a low-frequency state, you're attempting to force a high-frequency timeline into existence. It's like trying to drive north while steering south. The harder you push the accelerator, the further away you get. Your effort, the very act of trying, keeps you locked in the low-frequency timeline because trying implies lack. Forcing implies separation. Desperation broadcasts, "I don't have this," and the quantum field, which can only respond to your dominant frequency, says, "Understood, here's more of not having it." Dispenza tipo 2, explicação conceitual e metáforas, 28:32 a 900 palavras. Let me show you this through nature, because nature never forces and yet creates endlessly. Watch how water flows. When water encounters a rock, does it try harder to push through? Does it sit there applying more and more force until the rock crumbles? No. Water allows. It flows around the obstacle. It takes the path of least resistance. And given enough time, without any effort, without any trying, that gentle, allowing flow carves through mountains. The Grand Canyon wasn't created by water trying. It was created by water allowing. Or watch a tree grow. Does an oak tree force its branches upward? Does it desperately try to grow taller than the other trees? No, it simply allows the intelligence encoded in its DNA to unfold. It trusts the process. It grows without trying, and it becomes magnificent. Or look at how a wound heals. When you cut your finger, do you try to heal it? Do you force your cells to regenerate? No, you simply trust your body's innate intelligence. You allow the natural healing process to occur, and your finger heals perfectly, without any conscious effort on your part. This is the intelligence of nature, the intelligence of the universe, and you are part of nature. You are the universe expressing itself in human form. So why do you think your manifestations require desperate trying when nothing in nature works that way? Here's what's really happening. When you were young, you learned that rewards come from effort, from hard work, from pushing through resistance. And in the 3D physical world, the world of matter and force, that's partially true. If you want to build muscle, you need to stress the muscle fibers. If you want to pass a test, you need to study. If you want to build a house, you need to hammer nails. But manifestation doesn't happen in the 3D realm of force. Manifestation happens in the quantum realm of probability, and quantum probability responds to frequency, not force. Think of it like this. In the 3D world, if you want to move a rock, you push harder. In the quantum world, if you want to shift timelines, you allow more. They're inverse operations. The more you try in 3D, the more you achieve. The more you try in the quantum field, the more you block. This is why people who are good manifestors often say things like, "I just let go and it showed up. I stopped caring and then it appeared. The moment I released attachment, it came." They're not being mystical. They're describing the physics of quantum collapse. When you release force, you allow the wave function to collapse into the probability that matches your true frequency. Not the frequency of trying, but the frequency of being. So here's the practical protocol for shifting timelines through allowing. The timeline tuning exercise. This is a 15-minute practice that will rewire your relationship with manifestation. Step 1, identify your current timeline. 3 minutes. Sit quietly and ask yourself, what timeline am I currently on? Notice the feelings in your body. Are you tense, anxious, constantly checking for progress? If yes, you're on the trying timeline, the timeline where struggle is required. Or are you relaxed, trusting, allowing things to unfold? If yes, you're already on the allowing timeline. Be honest. No judgment, just awareness. Step 2, feel the frequency of the desired timeline, 5 minutes. Now close your eyes and imagine the timeline where your manifestation has already happened, not will happen, already happened. In this timeline, you're not trying anymore. You're not wondering if it will work. You're simply living in the reality of having it. What does that feel like in your body? Not excitement, not relief, just calm, grounded presence, like how you feel about breathing. You don't try to breathe. You just breathe. Feel your manifestation with that same quality of naturalness. Spend at least 5 minutes resting in this frequency. Let your body memorize it. Step 3, the allow statement, 2 minutes. Now, from this state, speak this statement out loud or internally. I release all need to force this outcome. I trust the quantum field to collapse the probability that matches my frequency. I allow the timeline where your desire exists to merge with my current experience. I am patient. I'm trusting. I am allowing. Say it slowly. Mean every word. Step 4, physical timeline integration. 3 minutes. Stand up. Shake your body gently for 30 seconds. This helps integrate the new frequency into your nervous system. Then place one hand on your heart, one on your belly. Breathe deeply for 2 minutes, imagining roots growing from your feet deep into the earth. This grounds the new timeline into your physical reality. Step 5, release completely. 2 minutes. The final step, and the most important, let it go completely. Don't check for signs. Don't obsessively monitor your thoughts. Don't try to maintain the frequency. Just live your life. Trust that the timeline shift has already occurred in the quantum field and will manifest in physical form when the time is perfect. This is the hardest part for most people because the ego wants to control the timeline. But remember, the more you try to control, the more you block. The more you allow, the faster it manifests. Practice this exercise once a day for 21 days. Don't analyze results. Don't keep score. Just practice allowing and watch what happens. Now there's one more piece to this puzzle that we need to address before you can fully master effortless manifestation. And it has to do with why most people's attempts at letting go actually reinforce the pattern of forcing. Let's go deeper. Now let's talk about the most misunderstood concept in manifestation. Everyone says, just detach from the outcome, or let go and trust. But what does that actually mean scientifically? Because here's what I've observed. Most people, when they try to detach, are actually forcing detachment. They're trying not to care. They're efforting to let go. And this creates a paradox. You're forcing yourself to stop forcing. Let me show you what's really happening in your nervous system. Dr. Stephen Porges developed the polyvagal theory, which maps 3 distinct states of the nervous system. State 1, ventral vagal, social engagement, heart rate variability, high coherence, emotional state, safe, connected, trusting, manifestation capacity, maximum. State 2, sympathetic, fight or flight, heart rate variability, chaotic, incoherent, emotional state, anxious, desperate, forcing, manifestation capacity, blocked. State 3, dorsal vagal, shutdown, heart rate variability, flatlined, emotional state, numb, dissociated, I don't care anymore, manifestation capacity, also blocked. Here's the key. Most people think letting go means moving from state 2, forcing, to state 3, not caring. But state 3 isn't allowing, it's giving up. True allowing happens in state 1, ventral vagal. In this state, you do care about your desire, but you care from a place of trust, not desperation. You want the outcome, but you don't need it to feel okay. This is what the HeartMath Institute measures as heart coherence. In 2015, they published research showing that when subjects maintained heart coherence for just 5 minutes, their DNA began to unwind, literally changing genetic expression. The subjects who tried to force positive emotions showed no change in DNA. The subjects who tried to not care, dorsal vagal shutdown, showed no change in DNA. Only the subjects who rested in genuine coherence, wanting the outcome but trusting the process, showed measurable changes at the cellular level. This is the difference between forcing, giving up, and truly allowing. Allowing isn't passive, it's active trust. It's not, I don't care if it happens. It's, I care deeply, and I trust the intelligence of the universe to deliver it in perfect timing. Debaixes tipo 2, explicação conceitual e metáforas. 44, já 100 palavras. Let me give you a metaphor that makes this crystal clear. Imagine you're growing a garden. You plant seeds, you water them, you ensure they get sunlight, and then you wait. You don't dig up the seeds every day to check if they're growing. That would kill them. You don't yell at the seeds. Why aren't you growing faster? You don't force the soil to produce plants. You simply maintain the conditions for growth and trust the process. You care about the garden. You tend to it, but you don't force it. This is true allowing. Now imagine someone who forces a garden. They check the seeds every few hours. They overwater out of anxiety. They dig them up repeatedly to see if it's working. They compare their garden to everyone else's. They stay up at night worrying, what if the seeds don't grow? What happens? The seeds die. The garden never flourishes. Not because the seeds were bad, not because the soil was wrong, but because the forcing energy disrupted the natural growth process. Your manifestations are the same. When you plant the seed of intention and then check constantly, is it here yet? Why isn't it here yet? What am I doing wrong? You're disrupting the quantum growth process. When you compare your manifestation timeline to others, they manifested in 2 weeks. Why is mine taking longer? You're pulling focus from your garden to tend to imaginary gardens. When you doubt, maybe this doesn't work for me, you're essentially telling the seed, I don't believe you can grow. And the universe, which only responds to your dominant frequency, says, understood, here's more doubt. But when you plant the seed, maintain the conditions, coherent frequency, and trust. The manifestation grows naturally, perfectly, in its own timing. Not your timing, universe timing. And universe timing is always perfect because it accounts for thousands of variables you can't see. The right person needs to make a decision that creates your opportunity. A certain event needs to occur that opens the door. You need to evolve to the version of yourself who can hold that reality. All of this is happening behind the scenes while you're busy forcing and wondering why nothing's working. The irony is, the less you force, the faster everything aligns. Because forcing creates resistance, allowing creates flow, and flow is the language of the quantum field. Você para, senta, Tom fica sério. Okay, real talk. 90% of people who learn about allowing make one mistake that sabotages everything. Pausa. And I almost didn't include this part because it's uncomfortable. But if I don't tell you, you'll waste months making the same error. Inclina para frente. The mistake is this. You try to force yourself to stop forcing. Deixa isso pousar. You turn allowing into another achievement, another thing you have to do perfectly. And now you're stuck in a meta layer of forcing. Pausa longer. In the next 6 minutes, I'm going to show you how to recognize when you're doing this, and the one sentence redirect that breaks the pattern instantly. This is the piece that makes everything else work. Don't skip this. Tipo 3. Aplicação prática e exercícios. 44 pris, 46, din, 900 palavras. Here's your protocol for mastering true allowing, the daily allowing practice. This takes 10 minutes each morning and will reprogram your relationship with manifestation. Passo 1, morning energy audit, 2 minutes. Before you look at your phone, before you check social media, before you interact with anyone, sit up in bed and place both hands on your heart. Ask yourself, am I enforcing energy or allowing energy energy right now. Forcing feels like tension, anxiety, mental loops. I need to figure this out. Allowing feels like spaciousness, trust, calm curiosity. I wonder what today will bring. Just notice, no judgment. Step 2, the surrender statement, 3 minutes. Speak this statement out loud with your hands still on your heart. Today, I release all need to control outcomes. I trust that the universe is orchestrating events in perfect alignment with my highest good. Every breath I take, I breathe in trust. Every breath I release, I exhale forcing. I am the observer, not the controller. I allow life to flow through me, not because of me. I am safe in the unknown. Repeat this 3 times slowly, feeling each word. Step 3, timeline visualization. 3 minutes. Close your eyes. Visualize 2 timelines in front of you. Timeline A, the forcing timeline. You see yourself anxious, checking obsessively, trying desperately, exhausted. Timeline B, the allowing timeline. You see yourself peaceful, trusting, living fully, magnetizing effortlessly. Now, consciously choose timeline B. Imagine stepping into that version of yourself. Feel how their body feels. Notice how they breathe, how they move through the day. This is your natural state. This is who you become when you stop forcing. Step 4, the allowing affirmation throughout the day, ongoing. Every time you notice yourself slipping into forcing energy, checking for results, obsessing over timing, comparing yourself to others, pause and say internally, the less I force it, the faster I get it. Then take 1 deep breath and return to whatever you were doing. Don't make it a big deal, just redirect gently. Step 5, evening gratitude integration, 2 minutes. Before bed, review your day and find 3 moments where you allowed instead of forced. Maybe you didn't check your bank account obsessively. Maybe you didn't spiral into why hasn't it happened yet. Maybe you trusted a synchronicity instead of questioning it. Acknowledge these moments. Thank yourself for choosing allowing. This reinforces the neural pathway of trust. Here's what will happen as you practice this. Week 1, you'll notice how much you've been forcing. It will feel overwhelming. That's good. Awareness is the first step. Week 2, 3, you'll start catching yourself mid-force and redirecting. The gap between force and allow will shrink. Week 4 plus, allowing will become your default state. And this is when the magic accelerates. Manifestations that you've been chasing for months will suddenly appear, not because you tried harder, because you stopped trying. Now, before you leave to apply all of this, there's one critical error that 90% of people make when they first learn about allowing. And if you make this error, you'll sabotage everything. Let me show you exactly what it is. All right, as promised, I'm going to reveal the #1 error that prevents 90% of people from applying this correctly. And this error is so subtle that most people don't even realize they're making it. Here it is. They try to force themselves to stop forcing. Read that again. They turn allowing into another thing they have to do perfectly. They monitor themselves. Am I forcing right now? Am I in allowing energy? Let me check. Oh no, I'm checking, which means I'm forcing. Now I need to stop forcing. Wait, that's also forcing. And they spiral into a meta layer of forcing. Let me explain why this happens. Your ego, the part of you that's been running your life through control and effort, doesn't just give up because you learned a new concept. The ego is smart. It adapts. So it says, okay, you want to stop forcing? I'll help you stop forcing. I'll make sure you're really good at allowing. Let me force you to allow perfectly. And now you're trapped in the same pattern with different language. You're still trying, still controlling, still desperate, just with a spiritual bypass. I'm not forcing, I'm allowing. But true allowing isn't something you do, it's something you become. And you become it not through effort, but through surrender. Here's the secret that changes everything. You can't force yourself into allowing. You can only notice when you're forcing and gently choose differently. It's like meditation. You don't force yourself to stop thinking. You notice thoughts arising, and you gently return to the breath. Same with allowing. You don't force yourself to stop forcing. You notice forcing arising, and you gently return to trust. The shift happens in the noticing, not in the fixing. So if you find yourself thinking, why am I still forcing? I should be better at this by now. This isn't working. That's the ego trying to turn allowing into another achievement. Instead, simply notice, there's forcing energy. Interesting. And breathe. And trust that the awareness itself is already shifting the frequency. You don't need to be perfect at allowing. You just need to be willing to allow. That willingness is enough. Brasi, fase 2. Integração dos três pilares. 51, 54. Você olha direto na câmera. Tom suave, mas firme. We're almost at the end, and I want to acknowledge you. The fact that you're still here, 52 minutes into a video about quantum physics and consciousness, that's not random. Your higher self knows you're ready for this. But here's what I need you to understand. In the next 8 minutes, I'm going to give you multiple ways to take action, and the action you choose will determine your timeline. You can watch passively and change nothing, or you can decide right now that this is the moment everything shifts. What's it going to be? Let's finish this journey together. So let's recap what you've discovered today. First, the science of quantum mechanics. You learned about the observer effect from the 1927 double-slit experiment. You discovered that quantum systems resist force and respond to observation. You saw how particles exist in superposition, all possibilities simultaneously, until observation collapses them into one outcome, and you realized your reality operates the same way. You're not creating from scratch. You're collapsing probabilities that already exist. Second, the science of energy medicine. You learned about the electromagnetic field of your heart, measured by HeartMath Institute in 1993. You discovered that coherent heart rhythm creates a harmonic field that attracts aligned timelines. You saw how Dr. William Tiller's research at Stanford proved that intention carried in electromagnetic fields can alter physical matter. And you realized your emotional state isn't just in your head. It's broadcasting electromagnetically into the quantum field. Third, natural magic and practical application. You learned how water flows, how trees grow, how wounds heal, all without forcing. You received the coherence reset protocol, the timeline tuning exercise, and the daily allowing practice. You now have practical tools to shift from forcing to allowing in your daily life. When you integrate these three, quantum science, energy medicine, and nature-based practice, you stop being a desperate manifester. You become a conscious observer who allows reality to unfold. You stop asking, why isn't it here yet? And you start knowing it's already here in the quantum field. I'm simply allowing it to materialize. This is the shift from 3D forcing to quantum allowing. This is the shift from struggle to flow. This is the shift from manifesting through desperation to manifesting through being. You. Before you click away, I want you to do one thing, not for me, for you. Close your eyes for 5 seconds and ask yourself, what have I been forcing that I'm now ready to allow? Got it? Now, write it in the comments below, not because I need to know, but because declaring it shifts your frequency. The quantum field responds to stated intention. Go. Do it now. I'll wait. You. Done. Beautiful. Now, if you want to go deeper into timeline shifting, the video appearing on your screen right now is called Quantum Observer Effect: Why Your Reality Changes When You Stop Watching. In that video, I reveal the advanced mechanics of observation and how to use the paradox of watching without watching to collapse timelines even faster. It's the natural next step after this one. Click it now while this frequency is still active in your system. And if this is your first time here, welcome to the Q state. This isn't just a YouTube channel. This is a frequency training ground. Every week, new protocols, new science, new activations. Hit subscribe Turn on notifications, because the content coming in the next few months is going to make this video look like the introduction. You're ready. I can feel it. Let's do this together. One last thing. The fact that you're here right now, that you watched all 60 minutes, that something inside you resonated. That's not random. That's not luck. That's the quantum field responding to your frequency. You're ready for this shift. Your higher self knows it. So starting today, starting right now, practice allowing. When you notice forcing, redirect. When you catch yourself checking, breathe and trust. When the ego screams, try harder, smile and whisper, the less I force it, the faster I get it. The universe is waiting for you to align, not through effort, through ease. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay coherent, stay conscious, and remember, the less you force it, the faster you get it.